Team, Coach Alana here. So tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about creating a game plan basically for your coaches. I'm going to do my best to keep this not too long, so I'm just going to dive right in. So first off, this doesn't have to be something that's only for new coaches. This how I got this information basically came about because so often, coaches are like, how do I motivate my people? How do I get people, going? Like I have coaches who have been coaches for a month, 2 months, 6 months or whatever, and they're not showing up. How do I, get these people to start building? And obviously, there's no way to guarantee that this is going to, get someone who hasn't been building to start building, but I think it's a really great place to start to help them set up a game plan. So you can do this with brand new coaches to help them get started, or you can do this with people who have been in the business for a while. So first order of action, what's really important for us as leaders of a team, even if that's a team of 2 people, you're still a leader, is to be asking questions, all the time asking questions. You should become a master of asking questions if you're going to be a good leader. So the first question that should be there is, what are their goals? Find out what this person, what this coach on your team wants, what their goals are. You have to ask them these questions so that they're working towards their own goals and you're not pushing them towards your goals. You're not trying to get them to a certain place because of what you want in your business. You're trying to help them get to where they want to be in their business. So first of all, you want to obviously be asking them the question of what their goals are, what they want from this business, and really listening, because for some people that is, building a full-time income, quitting their job. Others, that might not be the case. Others, it might just be that they simply would like to earn an extra $200 a month to pay for a certain bill, So it's really important to not only ask them what their goals are and what they want, but to listen. So write down what their goals are and really listen and hear them, hear what they're saying, and take note of it. So the next step in creating this action plan is to, let me actually pause for a minute and go back. If you have a coach who started, I did mention that this is something for coaches who have maybe been in this for a while. If you have a coach who started, say, a couple months ago, and when they started, they told you what their goals were, ask them if those are still their goals. If they started and they said, oh yeah, I want to quit my job and create a full-time income working from home, and the last 3 months they haven't been showing up in their business at all, reach out and say, hey, these are what you told me your goals were when you started. Are those still what your goals are? Or have they changed? Again, ask them questions, find out what it is that they want. Maybe they're going to say, yes, those are still my goals. Maybe they're going to say, no, actually, I think I, don't want quite that much. I think I want to do just this, this is my goal. So whatever it is, always be asking questions. Okay. Anyway, so next step is to create the action plan for them. And what this boils down to is, instead of you as their mentor or their leader telling them what to do, what's really important is to ask them what they can commit to. Asking questions. Again, be a master of asking questions. I can't say it enough. So, go through a list. Okay, let's start with personal development. How many minutes a day of personal development can you commit to? Is that 10 minutes of reading a book? Is that 30 minutes of listening to a podcast, National Wake Up Call, whatever it might be? Ask them what they can commit to. Same thing with anything else. Their workouts, ask them how many workouts they can commit to doing a week. Adding to their network, ask them how many people they can commit to adding to their network a day. Invites, to challenge groups and to coaching. How many people can you commit to inviting, talking to about challenge groups, whatever that is. When you ask them to answer that question for you, I think it comes in a lot more powerful because it's them telling you. Again, it's not you sitting there saying, okay, you need to invite 3 to 5 people a day, and you need to listen to do 10 minutes of personal development a day, and you need to add 3 to 5 people to your network a day. It's it can be a lot, and it can be kind of overwhelming. So if you ask them to, lay out these commitments, then it's them telling you what it's going to be. And I think for a lot of people, that's a lot more powerful when they are the ones who are coming up with those commitments. Again, phrase it as commitment, phrase it as non-negotiables, whatever words you want to use to make it so that like this is what they're going to be doing a day, and tell them it can be anything. I mean, if someone's like, oh, I'm just crazy busy and I'm stressing out or whatever, then okay, maybe you can commit to inviting 3 people a day. Can you commit to that? Again, like them telling you is going to be what works for them. And that's what's important is that is we're creating a game plan for them that works for, their business, not for you. So the next step is obviously follow up. So once you sit down and create this game plan, and I recommend doing that either over the phone or better yet on a one-on-one Zoom call, but definitely do it in a one-on-one situation, obviously not with other coaches around. So then I would say in a week's time, you're going to follow up with them and you're going to ask them, hey, how are you doing on your commitments? You should make sure, obviously, when you're going through the commitments that they've written them down, but also that you've written them down. So you know what each coach has set out as their particular commitments. And then you're going to check in with them in a week to see how they're doing. Hey, how's it going with your commitments? Have you been able to stay on track with all the numbers that we set up in this last week? It's either going to be pretty much a yes or no question. So they're either going to say, yes, I have, or no, I haven't, right? Or maybe yes, I have on some aspects and no, I haven't in others. So the next step is then to basically adjust the game plan. Okay, again, ask them questions. Well, how did this week go? Do you think that you can still hit those commitments that we set out? Do you want to adjust the numbers? What do you feel is going to work better for you? Maybe they told you, I'm going to invite 20 people a day to a challenge group, and they're realizing that they just don't have time for that and they can't squeeze it in. And maybe 10 is more realistic for them. Ask them questions, see where they're at, see what's going to work for them and be fitting in with their schedule. So, if someone that you've set up this game plan has, just not done it at all, or they're just being kind of flaky, or they're not really following through or whatnot, or they say they're going to do it and then you check in with them again and they're still not doing it, then you need to ask them one more time about their goals. Say, hey, these were the goals that you told me about. Are those still your goals? We set up this game plan, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Are these still the goals that you want for yourself? Is this still, what you're working towards? Check in with them, see where they're at. Sometimes people get too bogged down and maybe they need to take a step back for that. It's hard to accept when people need to do that, maybe take a step back from their business. But us as like their leader and their coach and their mentor, pushing them when they're not ready or this isn't the right time isn't going to be beneficial for them, and it's not going to be beneficial for you. It's going to be a waste of your own time. So again, bringing it back to, how's it going? Is this working for you? Is this what you want? And there also comes a time when with someone you have to stop giving them your time. It's another thing that can be really hard as a coach, but we're always told, and I know you guys have probably heard this a lot before, is don't give your time to the people who aren't giving it back to you. So if you take the time to set up this, one-on-one call with someone, you create a game plan for them, you schedule out all these commitments, and then the next week's, oh no, I haven't done it, or they, you reach out to them and they don't respond to you. You can reach out again, in the future, and obviously, one more time to see how things are going. Maybe they just were having a busy week. But at some point when someone stops showing up for you, then you have to, kind of bless and release, as Mike Ryan always says, and I really like that idea, is at some point you have to realize that it's a waste of your time to keep chasing this person. They're still going to be in your team page, they're still going to be in the Epic Dream team page, they're still going to be connected with the team and know that you're there for them, and maybe, reach out and check in once a month to see if they're ready to get going again. But at some point you have to stop trying to pull people along, and I know everyone hears that a lot, but you can only want it so much for them. They really ultimately need to want it for themselves. So the last point that I wanted to talk about with this game plan is, I guess, just getting kind of real and honest with people. And I think this is the hardest part of being a leader and being someone's mentor, is being realistic with them. And, it's something that we have to do for ourselves and in our own businesses all the time, but doing it for someone else can be a little bit harder. But sitting down and looking at their goals and looking at their game plan and asking them, and maybe telling them a little bit too, because as their coach, you might know a little bit more if you've been in the business a bit longer, if their action plan is going to line up with their goals. So what I mean by that is, if you have someone who, we're in March now, and someone started, say, in February, and they have a goal to be a 5-star elite coach by the end of this year. And you sit down and create an action plan for them, and they are going to add 3 people to their network a day and invite 5 people to a challenge group a day and invite 5 people to coaching a day, and whatever the other things are, personal development. Maybe they're going to do 5 minutes of personal development in a day, and they're going to work out 6 days a week, and they're going to post to their page one time a day. They're probably not going to get to 5-star elite. Again, this is the point where you have to get really honest with someone and say, and sometimes it comes from letting them, maybe follow this action plan for a week, 2 weeks, a month, to let them see it themselves. But to say, hey, the actions and the goals aren't really lining up here. So someone who is pushing for 5-star elite, we all know, just has to do more, right? You have to go above and beyond the, the normal or the average or something to really, to get there, right? So someone who is pushing for those loftier goals needs to have higher actions, right? So it can be hard to, I guess, be really honest with someone about that, but that's ultimately what it comes down to, is the actions have to line up with their goals. And again, this can be done, right from the get-go. If you sit down and, talk about in your one-on-one call that these are what their goals are, and then they tell you what the actions are, you can tell them right then, hey, I honestly, I'm not trying to push you or anything like that. I don't want you to feel pressured. But in what I know as a coach myself, I don't feel that your actions are going to get you to those goals. So if you feel comfortable, I would say do that right from the get-go, because that's going to save you both some time and some struggling. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, like I said, let them do it for a week or two. Odds are, if in 2 weeks, they're inviting only 3 people a day and adding 3 people to their network and posting 1 time a day, in 2 weeks, odds are they probably won't have a customer. Maybe they'll have 1 customer, who knows? Obviously our businesses go up and down, and you never know. I some days send out 20 invites and get 20 responses, and some days I send out 20 invites and I get 0 responses. So obviously it depends on the day, but on average, when we look at numbers over time, numbers like that in reality and in that amount of time, they're probably not going to see a lot of results. So then maybe, like I said, if you feel more comfortable letting them wait, letting them carry out their action plan, and then coming back and saying, hey, let's take a look. Okay, you've been hitting all your commitments that you set out to do, but are those commitments going to get you to your goals? Do you feel that this is getting you to your goals? Ask them that. because odds are they'll realize on their own, no, actually, I don't think that what I'm doing is going to get me there. If in 2 weeks they've only signed up one person, that's, most people's goal is at least to hit Success Club 5 every month. 2 weeks, one person, that's not quite enough, right? So odds are they'll kind of realize on their own. So again, whatever you feel more comfortable with, everyone's a little bit different. I wouldn't say any way is better or not. Like I said, it's more a matter of just like saving a little bit of time if you can be a bit more upfront about it. And other times you need to just let it play out and see how that action plan is going to go. And if that person is really going to, hit those commitments, or if they're not. And some people are going to hit those commitments and then be like, hey, I actually realized I had some extra time and I can do more, so I'm going to up my commitments. Those are your runners, and those are your people that you really want to help and keep track of and stuff, because those are the ones who are really going to, I think, strive in this business. The people who go above and beyond, but it doesn't mean that other people can't be successful as well, sticking to their commitments. Again, it comes back to what a person's goals are, So again, just really stressing that, asking questions, and figuring out someone's goals so that you can help them hit those goals, right? Because that's what we're here to do, is to help others with their fitness and help others with their business building. So knowing someone's goals is crucial in that, so that you can help them get there. Because again, I talked about it in the opposite way, but obviously someone whose goal is to only, maybe someone's goal is just to earn an extra $200 a month. Yeah, they might be okay with just inviting 3 people a day and, something like that. They might be able to hit their personal goal with that level of commitment. So you just have to, like I said, actions and goals just need to line up, and you can only get there by asking that person questions. Okay, 17 minutes. I was trying to keep this a little bit shorter. Rambled a little bit there at the end, but I hope this was helpful to some of you guys. This is something too, if you're a brand new coach and you don't have any coaches on your team yet, you might sit down and set up your own commitment plan, or reach out to a success partner or your upline coach to help you create that plan, and to maybe have them be that critical eye to say, yeah, these actions are going to line up with your goals, or no, they're not. But yeah, this doesn't necessarily have to be for you to do it with others. You can also do this for yourself. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments or in the event page, and I hope this was helpful. All right, have a good night.